And we are finally back. MMA Lock Talk, episode 31, October 11th. It's been about 2 weeks, about a week and a half since your boy has been live with you guys. But I really needed that week off. I was originally intending on doing an MMA Lock Talk episode for you guys every day of last week because there was no UFC event. But as I was about to go live for my 1 day episode, I was like, you know what? Let me just sit back. Let me let the voice heal. Let me give it a rest, take a full week off, and then get right back into the swing of things this week. And got nice and early with the MMA Lockcast. Dropped it last night for anybody that's curious. So make sure you guys go check that out if you guys want to hear my thoughts on the fight this weekend. Pretty much broke down every single fight except the Joe Anderson Brito fight. Was originally waiting for the odds to drop before I say anything about that matchup. Still doesn't seem like the odds are out. So I'm going to wait until the odds drop first, and I'll update my best bets and props article on Patreon. And then I will also, obviously, you guys will hear my thoughts on Thursday for propping you up with Cody, Friday, Ultimate Weigh-In Show, and then Saturday, Fight Day live chat as well. But that is the only fight missing from the MMA Lockcast, what dropped. But I was very happy to take some time off. I know you guys remember there was a couple days during that crazy stretch of events where I was doing, 2, 3, maybe even 4 streams a day, and I could really feel it on my voice. So, as much as I want to pump out content for you guys, as much as I want to sit in this chair, talk to you guys, chat with the live stream, break down fights, it's a recipe for disaster working that much. So I was happy to have that 1 week off, literally doing nothing. I studied up on fights and all that. And obviously recorded my podcast as well. But in terms of doing live streams, it was nice to kind of have that one entire week off. What's been going on? Pretty much just chilled all last week. Like I said, did some work here and there, tape index updates and researched the upcoming event. But outside that really got to hang out with the wife, enjoy our time together. Really taking the weather, as now it's starting to get colder up here in Toronto. So we're just taking our time, not really, not hoping that winter doesn't rush its way into Toronto here. Trying to take advantage of these nice days as best as possible. Already see the internet notification on my stream here, hoping that it sticks together, keeps together. Maybe the internet's just getting ready to rev up and be ready for all the streams and content that I got to drop for you guys in the next week or so. We finally got our wedding photos back, or at least a good chunk of them. For anybody that's been having a wedding or had a wedding recently, shout out to my guy Jake Nowacker in the chat, who just recently got married as well. Congrats to you, my friend. But if you got a photographer and they've been busy as hell, you know that it takes months and months for you to get your photos back. And we finally got ours back about 4 months later. Still waiting on the video. We got video done as well, but got some pictures back, and it was all right. I was a little bit skeptical, strictly due to my back was really fucked up that entire wedding week, and I was hoping it wasn't going to come through on the camera. And there were some good shots, there were some sketchy shots, but I was happy to have I was happy to finally receive them and see them. So that was exciting. Tomorrow I'm actually heading to a wrestling event. AEW is coming up here to Toronto. I'm not a big wrestling guy, not a pro wrestling guy whatsoever. But it just gives me an excuse to just hang out with some of my friends that are into it, right? A couple of my college roommates are still into it, so I was gonna meet up with them and enjoy it with them. My brother and a couple friends as well. So looking forward to that. Know nothing about AEW. You know what I mean? That all I know is that Cody Rhodes guy was into it. That was it. I don't even know if he's still a part of it. But the atmosphere and stuff is usually what I go for. The experience is what I like to go for, and it should be a fun time. So really looking forward to that. And yeah, then we finally got fights back this week. Next week, the big UFC 280, not to mention your boy's birthday as well. Looking forward to that as well. 10 a.m. start time for the fights on for UFC 280 next weekend. So you know your boy's gonna get to bed nice and early on Friday. Speaking of bed, yeah, I mean, seems like I need some bed right now, but we'll get to bed nice and early on the Friday before the fights, and then get up nice and early and get twisted. I'll be going live for at least I'm thinking the entirety of the card. I'll be live with you guys, put on a birthday hat or something, and just chill with you guys and get fucked up and really enjoy my time. So looking forward to that. But I gotta say this: it's nice to be back in the saddle here. It's nice to I got my guy Alfred kicking it beside me here, and just happy to finally be back with you guys. All right, let's get into the live chat since this is pretty much what the whole stream is about. Did I bring my pen? Yes, I did bring my pen, so we might as well prepare for liftoff. All right. Robot Chicken Wings in the chat. Always appreciate the love and support, my friend. My guy Jason Comtois. I believe you're the one that reached out to me yesterday, checking up on your boy. Truly appreciate when any and everybody does that. Jason, you are a G, my friend. Appreciate the love. How would you line Holland versus Wonder Boy? I think somebody said that, yeah, Holland opened up as a dog at plus 130. I think that line is fair. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to think that Wonder Boy is washed now because of the last couple performances he's had. But look at the guys he's going up against and look at how they chose to fight him. I'd be surprised if Kevin Holland looked to take the same approach. I think he's going to want to strike with Wonder Boy. And if he does, I think he might be in for a rude awakening. I'm still going to wait out on that line. I'm expecting that Holland love to come in. And as the fight gets closer, we might even see that line flip. We might see a Wonder Boy become a small underdog. And if that's the case, I'll be happy with taking a shot on Holland Wonder Boy as an underdog. But as of right now, if those are actually the odds, minus 150 Wonder Boy, plus 130 Holland, I likely will just sit back and just enjoy it as a fan. Hype MMA in the chat. What's going on, my buddy? Hope you're all good. Jake Noecker saying Holland going to come in like minus 200, I assume. I think you are off there, my friend. But I'm hoping that the majority of fans think that, because if he is is that big of a public favorite, people are going to bet on him, and that line will obviously flip. Sense Boulevard in the chat saying, gotta have some time off now and again. Glad to have Lock Talk back. Appreciate the love, my friend. Appreciate you stopping by as always. Jake saying, thanks, bro. We got ours back 2 weeks after just because he's a very good friend of mine. Okay, then you got lucky. The guys that we bought into, they're busy group that we bought into, but happy to finally get them back. The Real Study in the chat saying, Dimelo. Lock, what's up? People? Appreciate you stopping by, my friend. Big Xander saying, Lock is the coolest dude on YouTube. I try. I honestly try. I appreciate that compliment, my friend. Hype saying AEW live is awesome. Nice. The Real Study saying AEW not bad. Sir, atmosphere is a vibe. I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy to hear that there are some positive positive reviews of AEW. Again, I don't know who the fuck to cheer for. I don't know who the heel is, who the babyface is. We'll just go with the atmosphere. Laws One Dream in the chat. Remind you guys, hit that like if you haven't already. Also, speaking of a Laws One Dream, fellow Canadian of mine, happy belated Thanksgiving to anybody that's enjoyed their long weekend. That's why I didn't do a show yesterday. The wife was off as well, and we just had a whole day to ourselves. Decorated the house a little bit for Diwali as well, which is just around the corner, but pretty much spent Thanksgiving hanging out, watched the first two Lord of the Rings movies, just something that we like to do, and really enjoyed our time. Hopefully, you guys were able to enjoy some times with your loved ones as well over this Thanksgiving weekend. Daniel saying, what do you think the line will be for Brito versus Lucas? Haven't looked into that fight yet, so I can't say anything. But usually, the short notice UFC debutant is going to be the underdog, right? So that's what I'm expecting here. I'm looking forward to getting into the tape for it, but I would prefer there to be a line out so that I can actually, study it, then look at the line, and then drop what the breakdown is on the Patreon, and then obviously the video ones for you guys as well. Jake Noecker saying Holland as a dog surprises me because the odds makers like him, but damn, might have to hit that. Good luck to you if you hit that, my friend. Lajon Dream saying I just picked up a pen for Thanksgiving to smoke at my parents' place. LOL. I love it. I love it. Jake Noecker saying I'm telling your parents. Tell them. It's all good. Lajon Dream saying early lean on Gus and OSP. What an ugly fight, right? What an ugly fight. It's a sad fight more than anything. I put that in my Discord when somebody actually posted. I'm like, this is more sad than anything. I gotta lean OSP, I guess, man. Like Gus does not seem like he can really take a shot on the chin anymore, and OSP, I think, still has enough power to put Gus down. But man, this could be a sloppy fight. But I guess I lean OSP. Damn. Evo stuff saying, I'm back, everyone. No worries. Been a long time since I've seen you in the chat, my friend. Appreciate you stopping by as always. Lajon Dream saying, yes, happy belated Thanksgiving. You know what it is. Jake saying, hey, me and my wife are also watching Lord of the Rings right now, finishing Fellowship tonight. I love it. Extended editions or die. We watched the extended edition of the first one, but I couldn't find the second one. It looks like I'm going to have to buy it on YouTube or something like that. But yeah, no, we watched the extended for the first one, the regular for the second one. We'll likely watch the extended for the third one as well. Not to mention the final or the finale of the Lord of the Rings show is this weekend as well. And I gotta say, picked up, or sorry, it was slow to pick up, but it's kind of picked up. That fucking war scene that they had an episode or two ago, absolute fire. And for me, it's really connecting the dots of the story, which I find so intriguing, right? Like just knowing who Galadriel is, what her history is compared to what she is in the Lord of the Rings. The history of the orcs and the dwarves and all that shit. Like, I'm loving it. I'm loving connecting all the dots. I always used to watch Lord of the Rings with like a more so entertainment perspective in mind, right? Like, I just wanted to see the war scenes. I wanted to see like the fight scenes and all that type of stuff. That was it. But now I'm like really digging into the story with so much out there now with like The Hobbit and that and obviously the show now. Very cool. Same thing with House of the Dragon. Like I felt like a cough and then it ended up being a yawn. Very weird. Yeah, even with the House of the Dragon, right? Just knowing what the history is and all that stuff. It's very cool delving into those worlds and stuff. So very, very happy about that. I'm in the chat. What's going on, my brother? Hope you enjoyed your time out there in Montreal this past week. Jewish better in the chat. Appreciate the love, my friend. Evo stuff saying Gus can't finish OSP in my opinion. That's the question mark, right? Like, can he showcase his striking and combination work as well as he used to? Right, this fight's at 205 pounds. I guess his fight against Nikita Krylov was 205 as well, and he just got starched. So I don't know. Still lean OSP, but likely will pass on that shit show of a fight. Aiden Samo saying Jeff Neal plus 170 versus Shavkat. Man, I don't know if I can fade Shavkat. And you guys know me, I'm a big Jeff Neal guy, right? Cashed him solid against Vicente Luque last time around. Cashed him against who was the fighter that he fought before that? I want to say Li Jingliang. I could be off on that, but I know I cashed Jeff Neal as an underdog twice recently. Oh yeah, it was Santiago Ponzinibbio. That's what it was. But Shavkat, man, the guy looks like a problem. Real problem. I just don't know if Jeff Neal will be able to stop those takedowns. Daniel saying Glover will pull out and Gus will step in and become champ. Could you imagine that? Could you fucking imagine that? That would be crazy. Small World Lifters in the chat. Appreciate you swinging by, my friend, saying, I just come on the chat and I heard extended. You better be talking Lord of the Rings. You know what it is. Ian saying, soap today, thank me later. It's got every movie on it. Oh, But are they like high quality though? That's the question. I want like HD shit. Small World saying Two Towers Extended, not as crucial as the other two. I gotta say though, Two Towers might be one of my favorites because I love the Battle of Helm's Deep. Like that's one of my favorites. I love that scene or that whole war scene. Sean Berry saying, "What's up? How did you get into the betting space? Do you remember the first ticket you cashed?" I got into it very casually. I forgot who told me about it initially, but this was like 10, maybe 13 years ago, where I came across like Bet365 and I was able to make like, Hail Mary parlays and all that type of stuff. And, I did it very casually. A lot of lottery ticket type bets I was making back in the day. And then about 5 years ago now, I came across, betting seriously like that. That's why I'm like, okay, maybe I can actually do this. And I just slowly started betting, made a track record, and looked at the mistakes I was making, doing the tape studying. That's when I really started taking it seriously, and that's when I created the whole Lock of the Night brand and decided to just go full hog with it. So, I can't remember the first ticket I cashed because again, I was betting maybe $5-10 back in the day. One of the first big tickets I remember cashing was UFC Sweden. I bet like $2 or $5 and won like $1,000. I think it was. The only way I remember which card it was is because Tor Trong was on it. If anybody remember who's Tor Trong was, he was on the Jones versus Sun and Ultimate Fighter season, but he lost to Trevor Smith that night. Oh, it was the McGregor versus Brandao card. I hit a big parlay there. I think it was like a full card parlay where I got pretty much everything right, including the underdogs there. But that's the one that I remember as one of my first tickets. Robot Chicken Wings saying, "But Hustle Dragon's best show out right now." It's fire, man. There were like 2 episodes in the middle that kind of like felt like it was slowing down, but then it just picked the fuck up. The whole like the king thing and like you can tell the whole civil war is just about to kick off with everybody kind of just trying to lay claim to driftwood and making their case and securing their future as being on the throne and all that shit. Fucking fire. So good. So good. Daniel saying Draymond versus Donovan Beard next year on the Contender Series confirmed. I guess Draymond's getting a contract then, isn't he? Also, did Draymond actually get cut from the Warriors? I heard he got suspended, but then I saw something that he might have gotten cut and released as well. Please let me know. But hilarious that he actually punched that dude. Juice Better saying Shavkat striking is good too. I feel like people sleeping on it. I think it's decent. Like I think Jeff is definitely the better striker here. But it's good enough. I think it's good enough. Daniel saying Jeff Neal line moved to plus 250. Now you're getting my interest, right? If it reaches plus 300, it gets a little bit of my interest, but it's just that goddamn takedown defense that I'm a little bit skeptical about. I'm saying if you need stuff in HD, you know who to call. I know who to call, of course. Aiden Smo saying, "Oh yeah, they only post HD quality. Interesting." Lajon Dream saying, "I would think we all start off with lottery ticket parlays. Everybody does. That's how you get into it." Sean Bitter saying, "You need a jailbroken Fire Stick and you get everything: TV shows, movies, and live TV. You get any pay-per-view you want live. It's how I watch all my MMA stuff." Interesting. I've been using a VPN and using Fight Pass to watch all my MMA stuff. Aiden Small saying Chase Super minus 200 has me very intrigued. Seems like a spot we could pile up on. Who is his opponent? I can't recall off the top of my head. Rajon saying I haven't heard he got cut. Draymond loaded that punch up though. Yeah, he did. He did. Daniel saying no, the meme fake pages got you. Damn it. Small World saying is Maximov overrated? I think his name is starting to kind of surpass his skill set because he has that whole Nick Diaz Army affiliation, 209 affiliation. Like the fight that he has coming up this week. And I think it's a 50-50 fight. And the only reason he's the favorite is because his name, in my opinion. Like he's a solid BJJ player, but I think him and Malkoun are pretty much 50-50. So I don't know. We'll find out this week in if he is overrated, right? If he loses this fight, we shall see. Small World Lifters saying Magny versus D-Rod. What was your lean? I was ready to bet on another Magny decision. LOL. Yeah, I was going to be on Magny there too. I think they rebooked the fight though, so we might still be able to get action on that fight. I think it might be rescheduled for December. I could be off, but I'm pretty sure they rescheduled it. And yes, I'll more than likely be on Magny that time. Aiden Small saying Steve Garcia's Hooper's opponent. I haven't really been the most impressed with Steve Garcia myself. I swear he just lost too, didn't he? Steve Garcia, MMA typology. Let's see. Yeah, he lost to Mahashate round 1 knockout. Has a minus 200 favorite as well. Good God. I don't know, man. Chase Hooper is just so goddamn flimsy. Like, if you can't get the fight to the ground, things could get sketchy. And Garcia might be the better wrestler. I don't know. But paying minus 200 on Chase Hooper, no bueno for me. Never, ever, ever. Not paying minus 200. I'm asking, how do you feel about betting on a high ratio payouts to do midway cash outs? It's not my style. I can definitely see the benefits in it. Like, I know some people that have done it with some success, but like, you have to be hitting those often and know that the first couple legs are going to hit for sure, right? That's kind of the thing. Or even like if you're talking about a one straight up bet and then just cashing out midway through the game, you're diminishing the odds that you're actually betting them at, just to get that early cash out. I don't know. I'd have to look into it more, kind of see what the statistics on that are all. But personally, I haven't done it with much intensity or much concentration. Lajon Dream saying NDA. See, my guy Lajon saying it exactly. Glenn bought 5,000. I believe this is a fellow Irishman, not a fellow, but a friend. I believe who is Irish, who's been active in here in the past. Appreciate the love, my friend. Saying, does Chuk beat Fiorot? Ah, man, I think Chuk is always live. Chuk is always live. What are the odds for her fight? Plus 160. It intrigues me. It definitely intrigues me. I think she's live. I think she is live. Lajon Dream saying Patty versus Bahamondes. I don't think it's real though. Yes, it is. It is fake. It is fake. You got to be careful with those stupid MMA Twitter pages that just disguise themselves as actual credentialed guys, and then it's just a load of bullcrap. Whenever you see any type of announcement, click on the profile and check it. The way that I have it set up, so I never really get finagled by that shit, especially those types of like fake matchups, is I have notifications set for Nolan King and Big Marcel. Those are two guys I can pretty much always guarantee are going to only report fights that are 100% done. So if I see it pop up in my notifications, I know it's legit. I didn't see that Big Marcel one with Patty and that fake thing pop up, and I knew it was bullshit right off the bat. Be careful in these streets of Lajuan Dream. Be careful. Evo Steph saying D-Rod's performance against Lee was fucking bizarre. I just think it's showcasing, D-Rod's ceiling, honestly. Like, we can cut him some slack considering he was coming off a lengthy layoff and injuries and all that stuff, but I think he is a guy similar to Maximov where his name is starting to become more than his skill set. Yeah, good fighter, average fighter, but I don't think this guy's gonna, really crack the top 15 or top 10 at any point. Daniel's saying it's confirmed for the February 31st. Yes, there you go. Don't tap podcast in the chat. What's going on, my brother? Appreciate the love, my friend. Lajon saying, yep, I think Ignacio would win that too, myself included. Daniel saying Pavlovich gets another KO. Yeah, he just got lined up with Tuivasa, right? I guess I lean Pavlovich there. I can never just back Tuivasa, though. I'd love to see the odds on that. And a pretty quick turnaround as well for Tuivasa, considering that war that he had with Gon at the beginning of September. So something to keep your eye on there. Jake Neuecker saying Chuk via decision is such a great play here, in my opinion. I'll say this. Remember that performance that Chukagian had against Antonina Shevchenko where she just grounded her and dummied her? I wouldn't be surprised if we see that type of approach here from Chukagian trying to test the ground game of Manon Fiorot, right? Nobody's been able to do it with much success. I'll have to watch the tape again to say that with more confidence. But like, did Jennifer Maya? I think she landed one takedown on her, but didn't have much success. But I think that Chuk is a better BJJ player than Jennifer Maya. Um, I don't know. Maybe submission could be live as well. We'll see. Also on Dream saying, yeah, I'm usually pretty good at spotting the fake pages. Was highly doubtful that was real. Glenbot saying Chuk by decision. Thanks, Lock. Again, even just taking her straight up money line if you think that she wins is not a bad spot, especially considering she might look to exploit that the ground game. Daniel's saying was high on Gamrot, but now I'm leaning Benil by KO. Interesting. I'm still leaning Gamrot myself. Small World Lifter saying Valentina is looking less and less like the favorite price she commands. Is it time to fade her in her next two fights? If they match her up against Tyler Santos again, I'm definitely taking a shot on Tyler once again. But it depends on the matchup that's ahead of her, right? She's going to beat the Lauren Murphy. She's going to beat the Misha Tates. But we got to see who we got on the up and up. Maybe if Alexa Grasso wins this weekend and she gets the next shot, give me good enough plus money on her, and I likely will take a shot. Small World saying I have not seen what people have seen in Fiorot so far. To be honest, I think she's a solid fighter. She's a good striker, power puncher. She's getting better every single fight. I don't mind what I see on tape from her. I just got to look back and see like how people have challenged her in terms of the grappling. I don't think Mara Bueno Silva challenged her in any way whatsoever. I can't recall the Jennifer Maya fight off the top of my head, but yeah, definitely need to do the tape there. But you know, I see people that think Fiorot is way overrated. I think I see people on the other side saying she's too underrated. She is somewhere in the middle, in my opinion, though. Hype MMA saying Leah McCourt. Yeah, that was her first ever MMA fight, though, right? So let's let's cut her some slack there. She's definitely made improvements since that fight. Aiden saying, I feel like True can pull it off, but she just arguably lost to Hebos. I'm glad you kind of brought that up because like I've been guilty of it in the past as well, but it's something that we need to move away from is like I did it with Christoph Jotko and Brendan Allen, even though I prefaced it by also saying, you know, I know that, okay, I had Malkoon beating Allen. Allen won that, you know, close fight, in my opinion. I believe Malkoon deserved that nod there, but the fight that he had coming up against Jotko was a completely different stylistic matchup. Same thing we have to kind of say here with Chuk and Hebos, right? Even though you may think Chuk lost to Hebos, this is a completely different stylistic matchup. That has no bearing on how she's going to perform against Manon Fiorot. It comes down to styles, right? It comes down to strengths and weaknesses and how these guys or how these fighters perform going up against a different stylistic opponent every single time out. So that Hebos fight should be completely put to the side. Maybe look at that fight and see what can be taken from that fight and be applied to this one. Not just for the simple fact that you thought she lost the decision. That has no bearing on how this fight's going to go. Again, I've been guilty of this in the past, so I'm not shitting on you by any means. That's not my approach, Aiden, my friend. But just try to take that from what you can. Take from that what you can. There we go. Contender view in the chat saying Leah McCourt is a featherweight and Manoa is a flyweight. That loss means nothing. Not so much for that reason, but I think more so for the fact that it was her first MMA fight, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to cut her some slack. She would definitely have made improvements since that fight. And saying, feel like Bilal is super live. I'm looking forward to digging into that fight because I'm hearing, spirited stances on both sides in that fight. Hey, long time since we got a bot in here. I thought they all forgot about me. Glad to hit that block ASAP though. But yeah, Bilal, man, a lot of people love to hate him for some reason. I don't get it. You know, the guy might try a little bit more than he should at times, but he's a solid fighter. He has a good enough skill set, I think, to give Brady some trouble. But I don't know. I gotta watch the tape first. Daniel saying, does this mean Bellator beats the UFC? Probably. Fender Jazz in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, my friend. It does feel like it's been forever, my guy. Happy to see your name in the chat, my friend. Lajon Dream saying Death Taxes and Bilal and Chouk by decision cast both those tickets in the last fights. Well, if you're going back to the well here, good luck, my friend. Hype saying, can I get an early lean for Johnson versus Morales? Definitely leaning on the Johnson side there. I do not think Morales is that good. Competitive Review saying Chouk versus Firo will most likely be a kickboxing match, and I favor Firo there. I am curious to see whether Chouk is going to look to take her to the mat. Like she did it against Shevchenko, or at least Antonina. She tried doing it against her. And knowing that she'll likely have a grappling advantage over Firo if she takes it to the ground, that's where things get interesting. Kickboxing match could still be close. Like I wouldn't pay minus 190 on Firo in a kickboxing match because Chouk could still outpoint her. She could double her up on volume. Like that's the concern there. You'll have to almost bank on Firo landing the bigger, more impactful shots that score well with the judges. And at minus 190, I don't know, man. You have a lot to battle against with Chouk. Small World saying, can Dillashaw beat Aljo? I thought he lost to Sandcastle or Sandhagen. I think he's a live dog as well. I do think Dillashaw is live. Looking forward to taping that fight, but you know, he might have the wrestling to keep Aljo off of him, and then he might have the striking advantage as well. So, and again, similar to the He-Boss and Chukagian thing that I talked about with my guy Aiden Samo. Was it Aiden? Yeah, with Aiden. Don't take too much from fights you think a person lost. How do they match up stylistically with the fighter they're going up against now? Lajon Dream saying, yeah, Bilal gets a lot of undeserved hate. Yeah, I don't get it. Don't Tap Podcast saying, Royval Askar, I am taking the dog, which is Royval. Askar leaves his head out there, called it last fight, and I think Royval's chaos is a live issue for a fading Askar at plus 200. I like it, man. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it, man. Royval is always a tough out for a lot of guys, considering his unorthodox style of fighting and the chaos that he brings to the table. So, yeah, like I don't mind plus 200. I don't know if I'm going to get to the betting window myself. I did predict Royval as well, but I just don't know if I can do it. Evo, Steph, like and Royval as well. Aiden saying might sprinkle the Askar Royval split. Askar gets takedowns, but doesn't do a ton with them. Feel like it could be a greasy fight. It might not be a bad way to approach it, my friend. Split's not bad. Daniel is saying, think Royval going to finish Askar. Gotta think Askar confidence might be down since receiving his first loss. Possibly. I'll say this. I really thought Askarov was the shit when he came into the UFC. Like, I had some high hopes for that dude. I made him my lock of the night play in his first fight against Brandon Moreno. And I was so goddamn close to losing my shit because I thought he deserved to lose that fight. You know, I thought I got lucky by getting a push, by getting a draw in that fight. And somebody that fights similar to Brandon Moreno's style, which, you know, Moreno, much better striker than Royval, I can definitely say that. But Royval takes a little bit of that chaos that Moreno likes to bring into the cage as well. And he does well with it too. So, yeah. I'm always excited for a raw dog fight. And I think he can make this very competitive. Evo stuff saying Bilal talking shit to Tony after the Diaz fight was annoying, to be honest. Did he? I missed that. Lajon Dream saying, do you think Charles will stay at dog money or move to a pick'em eventually? No, I think he'll remain the dog. I think that Russian tax and the love for Islam is going to be too much for people to, you know, fully sway that line and switch it. Glenbot saying, I'm nervous about the raw dog fight. Not sure on anything, even the time props. Yeah, again, if I were to take a shot, it would likely be the money line on Royval, but I'll likely just stay away from it. Sean Bear saying, do you watch any KSW? I do not, but I really want to. I'm going to be honest. I really want to. If nobody watches KSW or hasn't even heard of KSW, just Google it. Just Google KSW. Google some of their YouTube fights as well. They know how to fucking put on a show over there in Poland. Like, they sell out. If I'm not mistaken, they sell out even stadiums for like their big shows. They do a very good job with their production, with their marketing and all that. And all those guys be on the juice. At least most of them seems like they'll be on the juice. But Yeah, KSW seems like a legit promotion that I should start paying more attention to. I'm trying to think of the most notable names to come over from KSW. The only ones that really come to mind are Mateusz Gamrot and Ariane Lipski. Sean, if I'm missing out on a couple other big names that came from KSW to the UFC, please let me know. Don't Tap Podcast saying Askar is so hittable when you watch tape. I think Royval's chaos gets him off the ground, winning minutes on the feet, and maybe putting him away. I like it. I like the confidence, my friend. Jared Curry in the chat. What's going on, my brother? Doing well. Hope you are as well. Vexen organization saying any underdog bets Sunday. I think you mean for Saturday. I do have 2 underdogs I've already bet on, but you're going to have to watch my podcast or hop on a Patreon to find out what they are. But I would likely be dropping those bets. I think I'm on a. Am I on a 2 of? I think I'm only on a 2 event winning streak now. But like 9 out of the last 10 I've hit. Let me just confirm here. I took a small L on the second last Contender Series event. Yeah, Heacher Jacoby ended my winning streak that I was on. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 out of my last 10 events I hit. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to keep it behind the Patreon paywall. Shout out to you guys that are into Patreon as well. Love you guys. I'll drop the dog of the night play for free on Friday, though. So keep your eyes open for that. Daniel saying, how do you think the Jan O'Malley line will move? Money seems to be coming in on Sean. I think closer to the fight, that money will come back in on Jan. So if you're looking to bet O'Malley, probably wait. But yeah, I want nothing to do with that fight personally. Lajon Dream saying, I definitely want to take a stab on O'Malley. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Daniel saying both Seans will win. Interesting. Lajon saying, isn't there a huge fight happening in that promotion between 2 massive dudes or something? Yes. One of their veterans, Mahmed Khalidov, who was the guy that I've been long wanting to come to the UFC, but now he's like 40 years old. So I think his prime is way past him. Probably one of the best fighters outside of the UFC that never actually fought in the UFC. Let me just pull up this guy's record again. But yeah, he's 42 years old, but he has a 35-8 record, but really went on a tumultuous run over his last. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Really fell off a cliff in 2018. But before that, you know, he started his career 3-3, but then after that went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 31, 1, and 2. He went 31, 1, and 2 from 2005 to 2017. That was on fire. And I remember everybody was just begging for him to come to the UFC. I'm sure they were paying him very well to stay in KSW, but he was beating some recognizable names. The aforementioned Tor Trong beat him in 2007, beat Igor Prokrayak, Jason Guida, Clay Guida's brother, Jorge Santiago. He split fights with him. He beat James Irvin, Matt Lindland, Jesse Taylor, Rodney Wallace, Kendall Grove, Melvin Manhoff, Kel Falcao, Brad Cooper, Luke Barnott. Beat like the best that he could get when fighting over there in KSW and ACB, but really fell off a cliff. Seems like the age is really coming on him now. But he's fighting. I'm pretty sure he's fighting like that Mariusz Pudzianowski, who's like the world's strongest man or some shit. Could be off on that. Aiden Smo saying, did you catch Glory Kickboxing this past weekend? I did not. I missed on that. Lajon Sheng went. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Lajon saying, who won, Overeem or Badr? Overeem won, from what I saw. Contender View saying, love KSW and the dogs are live there. I guess I should get on that. Evo Steph saying, I think Corey can do what O'Malley does, just a little more controlled. And I don't know, intelligent. Sean O'Malley might actually get his ass beaten. The thing here is there's only 3 rounds now, right? Jan is a guy who thrives way more in a 25-minute fight compared to 50 minutes. I could easily see an instance where Sean O'Malley just kicks his way from the outside for 2 rounds and then just survives the 3rd round and wins that fight. It's such a weird fight. Such a weird fight. Don't Tap Podcast saying, I'm on Dillashaw, live vet, great scrambles, great footwork, hands. Exactly what my pre-tape thoughts are as well, my friend. Glenbot saying, did Yuri come from KSW? He came from Risen. He may have fought at least once in KSW. I could be off on that. But yeah. Daniel saying TJ's washed. Jeez Louise. Definitely not washed, like my guy Aiden says there. B Anon saying Chuk is the Arlovsky of women's MMA. I like to compare her more so to Neil Magny. Like she's always that live underdog that people always overlook. And she can stay competitive. I guess Arlovsky's kind of like that as well, but like, you know, I would trust Chuk and Magny over Arlovsky. Wackis in the chat saying, Manpreet, what happened with Almeida fight at UFC 280? Shamil Abdurrahimov pulled out, but Jilton got matched up with Maxim Grishin. I think that's on 280 still. I could be off on this. Let me pull it up. I think he's on 280 still. Well, he's definitely not fighting Shamil anymore. November 5th. There we go. So that's when the fight is. Jilton is fighting Maxim Grishin on November 5th. Bianon saying she somehow doesn't lose. She just has a weird style that's hard for people to look at. Evo Stuff saying Dustin Jacoby has won me more money than any other fighter in my betting UFC history. The guy's good. He's a reliable guy. Usman saying Dricus Duplessis was in KSW, I believe. Yes, I don't think he was in it for long though. Like I think he beat Roberto Soldic and then he lost to Soldic and then went back to EFC if I'm not mistaken. Vixen saying, is Gordon percentages looking good? Gordon? Is there Gordon fighting this weekend? Yeah, maybe not. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, Malcolm Gordon. If you're talking about Malcolm Gordon against Mokaev next weekend, I think he gets squashed. Jared saying O'Malley by split and pray. Want to see how Jan's typical slow starting downloading plays out in a 3-round compared to 5-round. Exactly. That's the big caveat here that people need to worry about if you're backing that chalk on Jan. Small World Lifter saying just for fun, man. Preet, what do you think of a Martinez plus Martinez parlay and a Rodriguez versus Rodriguez parlay this weekend? Let's see. So let's start with Martinez versus Martinez. I think Mudna wins, but I think that Jonathan might be in for a rude awakening here against a vet in Cub Swanson. And then in terms of Rodriguez, I do like both of them to win, but something about Pete Rodriguez at minus 700 makes my stomach quiver a little bit. But I think Pieta Rodriguez does win. Looks like our line's coming down too, though, so I might even end up having a straight bet on Pieta Rodriguez if it continues to trend the way that it is. But all in all, I think the Rodriguez parlay is safer than the Martinez parlay. Akin Zulhayer in the chat, as always. Hey, Locke, are you feeling Cub Swanson as underdog of the card, or do you have other ideas? I do like Cub, but I do want to see him on the scales first, especially with this being his first fight at 135 pounds. Let's see how that goes first. And then if he still looks good, then I'll likely take an underdog shot on him. Danny saying Cub will not get the dub. I think you might be in for a rude awakening, my friend. Elijah Dream saying O'Malley by split, not bad. Walk is saying Rodriguez, Henry, Mokaev plus 147. What do you think? I think they all win. I think that's a solid parlay. Evo Stuff saying, what do you think O'Malley is going to do to Jan to be successful? I genuinely don't understand. Volume, output. That's it. That's how Jimmy Rivera almost beat Piotr Jan, right? That's how, Aljamain Sterling beating with like control time and all that, but he always makes fights super fucking close by not throwing enough early in fights. And in a 3-rounder, he's going to have to get started right away. Otherwise, he might be fucked. Sean Bitter saying, do you bet any LFA? Daquan Buckley and Yuma Horyuji seem like good bets. I unfortunately do not have the time to look into LFA, so I will not. But I'll keep my eyes on the guys. Good luck, my friend. Lajuan saying, could you imagine if Charles Islam misses weight and Volk steps in and wins the lightweight title? That would be amazing, But, it wouldn't matter to me because both fights I've been highly anticipating, whether it's Volk versus Charles, Volk versus Islam, or even Charles versus Islam. All three of those fights are fire. I still would rather see Charles versus Islam, though. Danny saying, thoughts on Nate versus Floyd? No thoughts. Sean Bitter saying Blachowicz came from KSW as well. And I love how my guy Sean Bitter even got the L right for the Polish Jan Blachowicz. I love it. Yes, he did come. It just seems so long ago, right? Jan's been in the UFC for fucking ever. Danny saying, I believe Covington came from KSW. That would be some shit. Don't Tap Podcast saying, I'll never forget Calgary Barao versus Dillashaw. TJ's coming out party. Dope fight. No one saw Dillashaw's footwork coming. If you haven't watched it, you need to. It wasn't in Calgary, actually. Calgary was Barao versus Faber, too. I was there for that one, working with the UFC. But Dillashaw versus Barao was insane. He came in as a plus 400 underdog. Nobody even thought he deserved to get a title shot to begin with. And then as that fight played out, I remember him just slowly picking him apart and having a masterful performance. If nobody has seen that fight, go back and watch it with the mind frame of Dillashaw not being deserving of a title shot back then and Renan Barao being in the prime of his career. And then seeing that type of fucking performance from Dillashaw was absolutely insane. Jared saying, I know Sean didn't look great last time out, but the dude is skilled. People talk about him in this spot like he's a Dana White Contender Series loser being brought in. I think it's more so everybody's just so high on Peter Yan. Yeah, that's why. It's fucking Piotr Yan. Sean got length. Piotr hasn't faced before, too. That's a good point. Boob saying, why is the UFC torturing us with this card? Whose idea was it to make Grasso a main event? They definitely should have made Askarov versus Royval as the main event, but I can see what they're trying to do, maybe trying to push Grasso. She's on a 3-fight winning streak. They need a new contender at 125 pounds. She's Mexican. That might help with her popularity and trying to break into that market even more. I get it. Sahil in the chat saying Sugar Sean met Ranveer Singh last night. Look at his IG. Sean had no idea who it was. I'm going to be honest. I've heard Ranveer Singh's name a lot. I don't really know who he is either. I'm not really into the whole like Bollywood and like Indian entertainment world as much. You know what I mean? Sidhu Moosewala was like the most I got into it recently. I'm guessing he's like an actor / singer type of guy. Danny's saying, so basically Barao Dillashaw will be today's Sugar versus Yan. Maybe. Don't Tap saying Yan has just fought so many monsters. Correct. Lajon Dream saying, I watched first 10 minutes of Sean's latest podcast episode, and yeah, he didn't know who Ranveer was, but said he has 40 million followers. Yeah. Guess he's very popular. Josh saying Askar versus Royval real main event. I agree. Daniel's saying Maximov versus Malkoon real main event. Based on how much I've seen people talk about that fight, I'm gonna have to agree with you, my friend. James Young saying Yan training with Andrew Tate. Well, I guess Sean O'Malley is fucked then, right? Small World saying I'm gonna head off. Matt, pretty thanks for answering my questions. Good luck with your bets. Likewise, my friend. I'll be right back here. Actually, no, wait, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm actually going to be gone for that event that I said. Thursday I'll be back 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here. So hopefully catch you there. Lajuan saying Sean and Shaq looks like he's Sean said Shaq looks like he's turning from playing years of ball and being that big. Yes, I don't blame him. Look how big the dude is. Song Road saying, oh, yep. Contender saying, what do you think about Salt Poppy? Who's Salt Poppy? Do you mean Salt Bay? Like the guy that does this fucking thing? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Jig Crane saying, I want 5 rounds of Jordan Wright. You're a fucking savage, dude. You mean like every time he gets knocked out, they just wait for him to come back to, and then they go another round 4 more times? Marcus Williams in the chat. Shout out to the Nubian bookstore. Saying Hennenbrough had one of the biggest falls from grace in UFC history after he lost to Dillashaw the first time. 2-7 after the first Dillashaw loss. Yeah, that was not, nobody saw that coming. Let's put it that way, especially Joe Rogan. You know, I mean, remember back in the day, Joe Rogan had that sound clip of Renan Barao is a monster. Like they just kept playing that. He was no monster after Dillashaw castrated him. Lajon Dream saying Sal Papi was a dude on the KSI undercard. He boxed while I messed a dude up. Never heard of him. Contender saying, nah, different guy. Sal Papi is a YouTube guy who boxes. He's relatively good, surprisingly. Never really got into the whole YouTube boxing thing, to be honest. Like, I'll watch Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. It's because it's fucking Anderson Silva. And I might have some money on that if they give me a good enough line on Anderson Silva. But never really got into the YouTube boxing thing. Boob saying, which big fave this weekend you think is going to choke? There's a couple big favorites I think could drop the ball here. Jonathan Martinez, Askar Askarov, Alonzo Menafield. Yeah, I think out of those, I think Alonzo Menafield. No, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I think Alonzo Menafield. I think he drops the ball and chokes. Jared saying pretty much, but every time it's a new opponent, Beverly Hills Ninja versus the world. That'll be jokes. Josh saying Jordan Wright is fantastic TV until he loses. Exactly. Lazaron saying I just put it on if there's nothing else on. True. Daniel's saying I'm new to MMA, just wondering how good was Barao and Miguel Torres. Their records were insane. Miguel Torres was fucking great. Like as back in his WEC days, amazing record, very solid fighter. I just think he started to get a little bit older by the time he started fighting even the better guys or guys that are more well known right now. Barao, solid fighter as well, but he really fell off a cliff too. But there's a lot of guys that like they have so much success early and then they just fall off a cliff, and then they're just known as like, you know, they're known as what BJ Penn is known as now, right? BJ Penn, one of the best fighters earlier on in his career, but he fucked up his record by just taking fights he shouldn't have or fighting longer than he should have. But yeah, Barao and Torres were very good fighters. Contender View saying, nah, I get it, but Saul Puppy is a funny dude. Watch some of his content. If you get some time, you'll have a chuckle. I will note that down, my friend. Don't Tap Podcasting, Serkinov is a wolf backed in the corner. Yes, I agree with that. Bofo saying, Locke, have you given your lean on Paul versus Danis in an MMA fight in Bellator? It's rumored. I would obviously have to go with Danis there, but I'd be surprised if that doesn't happen. Or if that does happen, sorry. Don't Tap Podcast, this is contract. Make him live. Makes him live, yeah. True. Yeah, if he loses, he's likely getting cut. I'm surprised they're giving him a 5th shot, right? I think he's 0-4 now, or in his last 4 fights, so we'll see. Don't Tap saying Torres had grimy Muay Thai, smash people. Yeah. Very lengthy for that 135-pound division as well. One of my first ever, like, not behind the scenes, but like public MMA memories that I had was UFC 113. I'm in Montreal, I'm walking around downtown after the fights, and I see Mario Yamasaki and Miguel Torres coming out of a strip club. That fucking had me dying. They had like a couple girls and shit too, but like I remember that. That was, we're talking 12, 13 years ago. UFC 100 was 2009. So 2010. May of 2010 is when that happened. Holy fuck, time has flown. Justin Villegas in the chat saying, Jackson, Mike Jackson fight week. Let's go, Future Chop. Let's go. Let's go. Daniel saying P. Rodriguez should pull out and go on next year Dana White Contender Series. He's not the best. He is not the best. He'll likely win this weekend, but gotta be careful. My guy Moy's Audio in the chat coming in at the last minute with the carousel. Why are you carouseling me, my dude? Why you do that? I saw you put out a tweet today saying Sam Hughes is on the carousel this weekend. Luckily, I am not on the Sam Hughes train. Love her as a fighter, but I think that this is a bad matchup. And again, like I said earlier in the podcast, if the line continues to drop, I might have to play Piero Rodriguez straight up. Jared Curry saying, in the spirit of Yamasaki, I hope the stripper kept going long after he was finished. Lajon saying, what does that mean? I honestly don't know what the origins are of the carousel with Moyes, but he always puts like a carousel gif or meme or post out there whenever he thinks a fighter is going to lose. And this week he's got it on Sam Hughes. So we shall see. We shall see. All right, we got about 4 minutes before I got to get up on out of here. See, Moy saying Olaju, the carousel is the Grim Reaper. Oh, he's saying Olajuwon. The carousel is the Grim Reaper. There you go. That's some deep, dark shit from my guy, Moy's Audio. Daniel's saying, thoughts on my prize pick, Dushko over 1 takedown, Pieta under 2 takedowns. I don't know. Both of them have me a little bit iffy. I think Pieta will likely want to keep this fight standing. Then again, I think she can now wrestle Pieta or Sam Hughes as well. Dushko, I don't know if he'll go for takedowns though. I don't know. Lajon Dream saying, what's your sweater say? It is my weekend merch. It is the After Hours Till Dawn. That was the name of his tour. And I've pretty much been wearing both of the pieces of merch that I've gotten over the last couple weeks. We got my guy MMA Experts in the chat. Been a minute since I spoke to my guy AJ. Shout out to my guy there saying, thoughts on Tuivasa versus Pavlovich. I lean on the Pavlovich side. Interested to see what the odds are going to be there, though. Jared Curry saying the Twitter Civil War fight of the week being Hughes Rodriguez wasn't on my bingo card. Hilarious, right? Absolutely hilarious, but is what it is. Got a couple spammers on the back end here, so happy to block them. Much love to you as well. Keep killing it, my guy. Keep killing it. So I got a little bit more tape and next work that I'm going to be finishing off the night with. Hang with the wife. Then maybe study up on Brito versus Alexander. Tomorrow, complete write-off, out for the day. But I will be back on Thursday for a doubleheader. MMA Lock Talk, 4 p.m. And then propping you up likely at 5 p.m. as long as Cody is can get away from the baby, his newborn baby. But yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern for propping you up on Thursday. All right. I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like on the way out before you guys do exit out of here. Appreciate that love. Appreciate that support. And I'll catch you guys on Thursday. Peace.